A very good morning to all to today's virtual CP meeting, jointly organized by Research Committee and Internal Audit Standards Board on empowering SMPs and technology as enabler of internal audit. We have two eminent speakers, Dr. K. Paul Jayakar and Dr. C. Sivaram Subramanian with us on two topics. And we are thankful to Merit Branch for hosting today's virtual CP meeting. With this, I request CA Puneet Rastogi, sir, Chairman of the Merit Branch, for his welcome address.
Can we request Anuj sir for his deliberation, because he has to join DC meeting?
Yes, sir. Before I call upon my chairman of the committee, I'll just briefly introduce him. C. Anuj Goyalji is the Central Council member of ICI with an experience of 14 years in the council, 3 years in regional council, and 6 years in branch. He contributed immensely in various capacities. Presently, he is a chairman of a research committee, the oldest committee of ICI, and capital markets and investment committee. He is also vice chairman of corporate laws. He has exemplary qualifications. He possesses CA, CS, CMA, LLB, MCOM, DISA, and DIRM. Under his chairmanship, we have taken numerous initiatives since last year as launch of International Research Awards. This year, we have introduced 2 new courses, FATA and FMSL, under capital markets. And we have specifically launched 2 batches under his guidance for the Middle East members for Forex and derivatives. With this, I request our chairman, C. Anuj Goyal, for his address. Over to you, Anuj, sir.
Yeah, Kunalji, Puneet ji has joined. So can we request him for welcome address?
Puneet ji, I request you to give your welcome address, please.
Sir, you are on mute. Puneet sir, you are on mute.
ओके, थैंक यू कुणाल जी। अनुज जी के बारे में बहुत कुछ बताने की हमें जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि गाजियाबाद की सबसे नामी पर्सनैलिटी और इंस्टीट्यूट में सबसे पुराने नामों में से एक है। और जो ये वेबिनार हमारे लिए कराई है उन्होंने स्पेशली, इसमें 4 सीसी मेंबर और 2 बड़े स्पीकर्स को लाए हैं, तो उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है हमारा। मैं अनुज जी से ही कहूंगा कि वो अपने बारे में अब कुछ बताएं, क्योंकि हमारे शब्द तो उनके लिए बहुत छोटे हैं जो भी हम बोल सकते हैं। तो सर आप बताएं अपने बारे में। उसके बाद राजीव अग्रवाल जी ने शायद ज्वाइन नहीं किया है अभी तक।
थैंक यू।
मैंने ज्वाइन कर लिया सर।
अच्छा सर।
वेलकम राजीव अग्रवाल जी चेयरमैन ऑफ मेरठ ब्रांच।
सर राजीव सर, प्लीज इंट्रोड्यूस अनुज सर।
वैसे तो अनुज जी को बहुत अच्छे से जानते। सीए अनुज।
Rajiv, your voice is not audible, so there is a technical glitch. So I would request C. Anuj Goyal ji for his keynote address. Over to C. Anuj Goyal.
Thank you, Dr. Amit Agrawal ji, our honorable Secretary of Research Committee as well as Committee on Capital Markets and Investors Protection. We are having the presence of C. Charanjit Singh Nanda ji. Very, very prominent and dynamic and dedicated and devoted representative in the Central Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and of course the chairman of very, very important committee, Internal Audit Standards Board. The way he has contributed for the cause of the profession, I think it is something really great. So on behalf of the Meerut branch, on behalf of the Central Region, I welcome C. Charanjit Singh Nanda ji, and of course on behalf of the Research Committee, and may I request all of you to put your hands together in welcoming C. Charanjit Singh Nanda ji. We are having very, very prominent resource person amongst all of us, C. Dr. K. Paul Jayakar sir. I think he's contributing like anything through Internal Audit Standards Board and internal audit for the cause of the profession, for the cause of the nation. So I welcome our honorable resource person, C. Dr. K. Paul Jayakar ji, on behalf of ICI, Research Committee, IESP, and Meerut branch. Friends, we are having the leaders of the profession from Meerut, very, very prominent, very, very old branch of the Central Region, one of the oldest branch of the state of UP. We are having the presence of CA Puneet Rastogi ji, Chairman Meerut branch, our honorable past chairman of the Meerut branch, CA Rajiv Agrawal ji, CA Pradeep Pawar ji, and we are having Nitin Malik ji, vice chairman, and Sunny Agrawal ji, our young and dynamic secretary, and other office bearers are also with us. So I once again welcome all our honorable members of Meerut, and we are having the presence of n number of participants from each and every part of the country. I welcome Kunal ji also, and we are having more than 3,000 chartered accountants. I think around 4,000 chartered accountants are live with us from each and every part of the world. That shows the dedication and devotion of our honorable members, our honorable leaders from Meerut, and I'm quite confident that this is a very, very important topic. Nanda sir, I think very, very important topic we have chosen: empowering SMPs, small and medium practitioners, and technology as enabler of internal audit. So I think it is the need of hour that the small and medium practitioners, how they can be empowered. Even the Prime Minister Modi ji is trying his level best to see that how the chartered accountants, how the chartered accountant firms can really come forward and try to build the capacity. And I think technology is one of the very, very important enabler. And I'm quite confident that all of us will be benefited immensely after the television of our learned speakers and Charanjit Singh Nanda ji, our honorable Central Council member and chairman of IASP. Friends, we are trying our level best in the research committee to see that how we can really come up to the expectations of all of you. We have taken lot number of initiatives through this one of the oldest technical committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants. Nanda ji, just after the inception of the institute in 1949, 1955, the research committee came into existence. I am fortunate that I got the responsibility last year also to chair this research committee. But I think a lot has to be done in the field of the research, because research is supposed to be the backbone of any organization, particularly the educational institutes. And Nanda sir, more particularly for the statutory bodies like the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, which is producing the best accounting professionals across the globe, which is the second largest accounting body of the world. And I think when we are having the best accounting professionals across the globe, I think with the help of them, through them, I think we can have the best of the research. We have taken n number of initiatives in the research committee last year also. One such initiative was to have the ICI International first most important cross-border competition research award, in which practically each and every member body of IFAC, International Federation of Accountants, is taking part. And last year, the chairman of the jury was the immediate past president of International Federation of Accountants, and this year. Also, the IFAC president is the chairman of the jury, and we got more than 140 entries from each and every part of the world. Puneet Rastogi sir, for the ICI International Research Award. So we are trying our level best to see that how we can really do something very, very concrete for the cause of the profession through this very, very important research committee. And friends, as rightly remarked by one of the famous philosophers, Peter Drucker, knowledge has power. It controls access to opportunity and advancement. So we are trying our level best to see that how we can disseminate the knowledge, which a lot number of chartered accountants do possess. And as it is the power, it controls access to the opportunity and advancement. So the chartered accountants are ready to access to the opportunity and advancement. So I'm quite confident that all of us will certainly see that how we can ensure that through this continuous professional education, by the use of this technology, how we can learn sitting at our office or sitting at our home. I think we have converted this threat of corona pandemic into an opportunity, Nanda sir. and our chartered accountants are trying their level best to see how we can further sharpen our skills. The best chartered accounting professionals across the globe are further trying to sharpen their skills, and I'm really grateful to IASB. IASB is trying its level best to see that how something really concrete can be done in the field of the internal audit standards. Friends, we launched ICI Doctoral Scholarship Scheme. This scholarship scheme is open for all the members of the institute who are pursuing PhD and are not more than 40 years of age on the last date of application. And the scheme aims to provide scholarship to the eligible candidates having outstanding academic record in 10th and 12th standard and an inclination and commitment, Rajiv Agrawal sir, to undertake research in the areas such as auditing, taxation, commerce, management, and accounting. Pradeep ji, we are identifying only 5 chartered accountants, 5 young chartered accountants, and will be giving the scholarship of rupees 50,000 per month for 3 years. I think you will be eligible for that, but you have to do the research on full-time basis. Even Sunny Agrawal ji is also smiling. He is also eligible, and I am quite confident that the young chartered accountants will certainly come forward. Nitin Malik ji ka mujhe pata nahi. The last date of submission of the application has been extended till 31st of August for the ICI Research Scholarship Scheme. Then very, very ambitious ICI Research Project Scheme. Puneet sir, you will not believe that the way we have got the response of the ICI Research Project Scheme is in spite of the year badly affected by COVID, we introduced Research Project Scheme last year. It is open for the members having experience of more than 10 years, either in practice or in employment. The maximum amount of rupees 10 lakhs will be reimbursed to the researchers. And Rajiv ji, Pradeep ji, we are not having any profit element in this. We will not be giving any honorarium to the researcher. And 2 of the researchers last year have not accepted even the reimbursement of the expenses. So that shows the commitment of the chartered accountants who are the researchers, that they are not even accepting the reimbursement of the expenditure. Last year, we introduced this for the first time in the history of the institute, and 7 research projects were undertaken, and all the 7 research projects, Nandaji, were completed within the given time frame of 6 months. And all the research projects were very, very good, not only for the profession, but also for the nation. And this scheme is open round the year. So I will request all our honorable viewers, we are having around 4,000 chartered accountants live with us. So how we can really come forward and try to be the part of this ICI Research Project Scheme. I will request the chartered accountants from Meerut also to be the part of this great initiative of the research committee. Then friends, ICI Awards for Excellence in Financial Reporting. We must be aware that since 1958, we are having ICI Awards for Excellence in Financial Reporting. And this year, we are having very, very ambitious target that all-time high number of nominations we will be having. Last year, also, I was the chairman of the research committee. And in spite of the fact, Pradeep ji, Rajiv ji, Sunny sir, that the year was very, very badly affected by the corona pandemic, we got the highest number of applications in the last 7 years for this ICI Awards for Excellence in Financial Reporting. So last date for this has been extended to 30th September 2021. So I will request all our honorable viewers, around 4,000 chartered accountants are live with us, that please be the part of this initiative of the institute, and we can send our applications, nominations, financial statements to the research committee by 30th September 2021. Friends, as we are aware that rise of globalization and technological advancements have entirely transformed the way business are conducted. Most of the business process from initial stage, that is procurement of raw material, etc., to finalization of books of accounts are now performed digitally. Further, it is important to note that technology is not only changing the business world, but the internal auditing profession alike. It is changing the way internal audits are conducted, as well as the risks and processes being audited. It is also changing the skills that are required to have an effective internal audit function. So this makes it very much clear that in today's world, internal audit and technology needs to go hand in hand due to expansion of automation in internal audit function, along with the extensive growth of computer systems in business and society globally. There are plethora of opportunities which can be tapped by small and medium practitioners, SMPs, in order to derive maximum benefit through integrating technology with internal audit to take the profession to greater heights. On that note, I'm glad to note the efforts made by Internal Audit Standard Board, led by CGS Nanda sir, to conduct such webinars on a regular basis with an aim to empower small and medium practitioners by teaching them the basic nuances of the internal audit profession and to render their services to clients, stakeholders, and government. Therefore, through today's VCM on empowering SMPs and technology as enabler of internal audit, focus will be placed on discussing various aspects of internal auditing and how technology can impact in its coming times. Now, friends, without taking further time, as we are very, very eager to hear our Honorable CGS Nanda sir and our very, very prominent resource person, C. Dr. Paul Jacker ji, and of course, the second speaker will be CA Sivaram Subramaniam ji, Chief Audit Executive, Titan Company Limited. Very, very prominent resource persons we are having. And I truly hope that it will be a very, very fruitful and productive session for all of us. I will not be taking your further time. So thank you very much. All the best to all of you. I once again welcome Dr. Paul, Dr. C. Charanjot Singh Nanda ji, all our leaders of the profession, from my commissary, Meerut, CA Puneet Rastogi ji, our Honorable Chairman of Meerut branch, Rajiv Agarwal sir, Honorable past Chairman of Meerut branch, CA Pradeep Pawar sir, Honorable past Chairman of Meerut branch, Sunny Agarwal ji, Honorable Secretary of Meerut branch, Puneet and Nitin Malik ji, our Honorable Vice Chairman of Meerut branch, and all other office bearers of the Meerut branch. Gaurav Singhal ji is amongst all of us, our Dhan Kuber. So I welcome all of you on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, on behalf of the Research Committee, and on behalf of the Internal Audit Standard Board. Thank you very much, friends.
Thank you, Anuj sir. Now I would request Pradeep Pawar sir to introduce Nanda, C.A. Charanjot Singh Nanda sir, Chairman IASP.
Sir, I would request you to leave because we are getting late for the session. So I will just give my keynote and
yes,
let the introduction not be there. Okay. So if you permit, I can start with my keynote.
Please, sir.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Research Committee and Internal Audit Standard Board is yet back again with a very scintillating, very fascinating session on two very important facets of internal audit: technology and empowering SMPs. I'm very happy to welcome my very esteemed colleague, CA Dr. K. Paul Jacker, a person who has led his entire life transforming the lives of chartered accountants who want to come into internal audit. I would like to candidly put across here on record that whenever I have requested Dr. Paul, in spite of his busy schedule, he is always ready to come and contribute for the cause of the institute. And not only contributing, researching, bringing out the best so that things can fall in line. Ladies and gentlemen, we chartered accountants need to rise to the occasion and understand that it is hard work. Bhushan ji, you will have to put your system on mute. Thank you. We will have to rise up to the occasion and put across one very important thought process कि हमारी जिंदगी तभी बदलेगी जब हम बड़ी शिद्दत के साथ खुद को बदलने की कोशिश करेंगे. I'll put across a couplet to you which says, यूं ही नहीं होती जिंदगी में तब्दीलियां, यूं ही नहीं होती जिंदगी में तब्दीलियां, मोम को भी रोशन होने के लिए पिघलना पड़ता है. जब आप अपनी ताकत, अपनी शक्ति संपूर्ण रूप से अपने आप को, अपने प्रोफेशन को, अपने प्रैक्टिस को बिल्ड करने में लगाते हो. मैं अनुज भाई साहब की बात करूंगा तो चेयरमैन है. अनुज गोयल साहब 18 घंटे काम करते हैं. रात आप 12 बजे, if you call him at 12 o'clock, he'll come back. And I have seen him over so many years now in the service of members, not only from big cities, but members and students from smaller cities. I have seen him speak incessantly, leave aside lunches, खाना आगे बढ़ा हुआ है. He's busy ensuring that line पे लेकर के सर इसके रिजॉल्व करो, अभी करो, अभी करो, अभी करो. ऐसे लीडर्स अल्टीमेटली इंश्योर करते हैं कि प्रोफेशन सही रास्ते पे जाए. People like Mr. Anuj Goyal would ensure that this profession reaches unprecedented heights. Give me a second, I'll just put in my PPT and come back to you. 1 second only. Is my PPT visible, sir? Kunal ji?
Your screen is visible, not PPT, but screen is, yes, sir, now it is visible.
Great. So, ladies and gentlemen, the topics to be covered today are data analytics, a journey, assurance to anticipation, how you create perceptive movements to create value and worth. And second is empowering SMPs, data visualization. Now, data analytics is an integral part of internal audit. What does analytics do? Analytics breakdowns, analyzes vast volumes of data and then rebuilds it to form information cluster that an auditor can use to analyze the risk landscape. Effectively, data analytics evaluates performance, provides greater value, and increases the credibility of an internal audit with its risk stakeholders. I'll give an example. What you do in exception reporting is nothing else than data analytics. You understand the system, use it, and then perform. Every data has certain value. You draw out the value. Now, what is assurance in internal audit? Assurance is GRC, governance, risk, and control. Internal auditing provides assurance on the organization's governance, risk management, and control processes to help the organization achieve its strategic, operational, financial, and compliance objectives. So largely data analytics puts us at a parlor where you start how we have to move ahead. Now, 5, may I request all to please put their systems on mute. 5 data visualization best practices which are recommended today. Number 1, speak to a specific audience. You need to address a specific audience. Number 2, you need to choose the right visual which people are able to understand, people are able to assimilate. Provide context. Reference to context is very important because the area where you are defining, the area where you want to discuss has to be very palatably visible. Keep things simple and digestible. Don't use jargons. Simple things which people understand and carry back. Design for user engagement. Yes, user needs to understand how we have to move ahead. Now coming on to the second topic, empowering SMP data visualization. Now please understand, the entire profession needs to be re-engineered. People who understand things have to come in. I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that we have to work hard. There is a saying which says, जो खैरात में मिलती कामयाबी तो हर शख्स कामयाब होता. जो खैरात में मिलती कामयाबी तो हर शख्स कामयाब होता. फिर कदर ना होती किसी हुनर की और ना ही कोई शख्स लाजवाब होता. बड़ी शिद्दत के साथ you have to get involved and change the entire landscape of the profession. You need to re-engineer the profession and create sound infrastructure and finance. Arrangement of social security and insurance protection is very important. Developing technical material to facilitate practice in new areas of profession are very important. You need to set up the practice, choice of the entity, what you want to do. You have to create client relationships. You have to adapt to a changing world of technology. You have to create pointers to specification. You have to create certain areas where you can work, may it be direct taxation, may it be indirect taxation, may it be audit, may it be FEMA, may it be Companies Act. You have to create tier 2 practitioners. You have to create the importance of a functional yet productive workplace. Very important is creating branding and marketing for your firm. Your staffing and HR management has to be at the top. Revenue management, workflow management, document management systems are very important. Audit techniques and tools are very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, I come out to my last slide of the day. The last slide says, what are the best practices? How you can map with other successful global accounting bodies. Number 1, use licensed softwares. Have reliable IT consultants so that your systems are not hacked and you use them to the highest level. Take due care of security risks. Use good anti-softwares and firewalls. Use database management systems to organize the files and retrieve them easily. Use templates for standard correspondence. Data backup and recovery is very important. Your research and e-library is very, very important. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to understand that if we want to work in tandem with the best practices, it is only possible. It is only possible when you are able to put things across in the right perspective. Not taking much of your time, I want to tell you that I am in Chandigarh and I have with me the chairman of Chandigarh branch, CEO Avtar Singh. We have a big conference lined, a national conference of CP lined down here. So, ladies and gentlemen,
welcome, Mr. Singh, our honorable chairman of Chandigarh branch. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So I would like to just put across that times are very robust and we need to take the maximum benefit of it. हमें अपने practices को change करके ultimately उस level पर लेके जाना है जहां हम proper तरीके से perform करें. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm really thankful to you for giving me patient hearing and to the research committee for collaborating with us for such a wonderful program. So over to the moderator of the session. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request Gaurav Singhal, sir, to introduce our speaker of the day, CA Dr. K. Paul Jacker. Gaurav, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I heard about the speaker. First of all, I will welcome her. The brief profile of CA J.K. Paul Jacker. He is a fellow member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India since 1981. Ranked 49 All India in the intermediate exam. Post-qualified experience in diploma in insurance and risk management from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He is certified risk and information system controller. He has completed his MCom and PhD from University of Madras. He is director IT and RMS in well-known firm. He is independent director in Panasonic Carbon India Company Limited. He has experience in the following fields such as financial institution, banking and NBFC, manufacturing, airport, sea, service industry, infrastructure, public sector, banking, power plant conversion and non-conventional and other. He has taught various subjects related to finance, management, IT, computer science, computer application, computer programming language and software engineering for more than 40 plus years. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, and welcome. And I thank Mr. Singh and the Meerut branch and all the office bearers for the opportunity given to me. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it, and we'll get started with our slide. This is the slide should be visible now. Yeah, it says empowering SMPs.
It's visible, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. What I'll do is I'll just quickly run through this and then we'll look at some of the real life ways in which we visualize data. Now, data visualization has changed its name now. Actually, it's called storytelling through data. So that's the newer words which we use. But what we are trying to say is when we are writing audit reports, particularly audit reports, or when you are making presentations, both ways, but today it's more on the audit report side, but maybe it's on the marketing side also. When you're making reports or you've done a proof of concept and you'd like to show what you have done, we go through a lot of pictures in the slides rather than a lot of text. So basically there are 4 questions. There are 4 questions which we need to address. One is, what do we want to convey using the data? That is the story. Are we trying to tell them positive assurances, negative, rather observations? Are we trying to give them suggestions, trying to convince them on the risk levels? So the first, this top corner thing, we will call it as we'll call this as the story part of it. Then the data which you want to explain, mostly it will be quantitative, but it could be qualitative also. So again, we need to understand what data we want to explain. And then comes the more detailed part. How do we put the picture across? What type of picture will we use I'll start with the traditional chart types like bar charts and so on. I'll quickly run through that. Then we'll go to the animated charts. And who is the audience? The audience may be the tactical managers, operational, or maybe a top management, but it could be audit committees, or it could be sometimes you make these presentations to regulators. It could be making these to preparing them for somebody to present it in a law court or for an arbitrator. So it depends who is the audience and will they understand all the detail. As you go higher up in the management, they're not interested in the detail. They're more interested in the trend. So that's the main thing we need to remember. Now, there are many types of charts. Traditionally, what I would suggest is we start with PowerPoint. There are a lot of charts, a lot of plugins. You can even record voiceover on the charts. Only thing, right click on the menu and enable the recording. You'll get a pull down, you can record, enable the recording. You can put the voiceover on your slides, and then you can push them to the client as a mail or whatever, so they can see it whenever they are free. Now, we need to look at three things. Normally, we talk of trends, business going up or sales going up, or say pilferage coming down or whatever, whatever the trends are. But there are two other important things. One which is called patterns. Do we observe something, like for instance, you're finding a heavy email traffic early in the morning, so probably somebody is doing it from the house instead of from the office? Or do you find a pattern in the pilferage of items, like a specific warehouse or specific grade of people or a specific type of item which your competitors probably don't have? So those are the patterns. Exceptions are what you report as observations. So these are important. Exceptions generally come out from your statistical analysis. That is the analytics we talk about today. They changed the name to data science. That will show you all the exceptions. Now, what I'll do is I'll just quickly explain each of these charts. Now, when you use a pie chart, it's a circle, and we know it's 360 degrees. And we also know it will come out in percentage, where every percent, 1% is 3.6 degrees. Of course, they don't teach us so much when we study in college, but you could just remember this. Now, try to put the largest pie on the right side, the largest pie piece on the right. Label it with data. So, okay, these are just icons here, but you can label it with data and try to explain to the user that this is the most important part. Maybe it's good, it's bad, it doesn't matter which one. And then gradually reduce it to the less good ones or the less bad ones. So this is very important. So when we, maybe sometimes you're wondering how to control the pie chart, because it will draw the pie chart according to the built-in controls like Excel or whatever tool you're using. Bring it to PowerPoint and then orient the pie chart so that it's easy when you explain, easy for a user who has not heard the explanation but still seeing the PowerPoint. Now, bar graphs, again, actually the most important part here is how to group the bars. Is it year-wise? Is it product-wise? Is it, what is the story we want to tell? Do we want to show year-on-year difference? Do we want to show product-on-product difference? For instance, we have NPAs in a bank. You could have, there's ever so many things like attrition rate in companies. So when you want to impress the listener that there is something specific you're trying to bring out, make sure that you group the bars together where it's easy for the comparison. That's what we are putting down here as. You show groups in comparison. This is very important because nobody reads a bar graph absolutely. See, nobody wants to know what's the value here. They're looking at these two bars. One is short, one is long. What does it mean? So that's all they are looking at. If you look at a line graph again, this is normally for a time series. Normally, but you can use it for anything. But generally, when you want to show over a period of time, whether a maintenance program has improved, reduced the breakdowns, has it improved worker morale, reduced accidents, then you show it over a period of time. Maybe the expenditure, the number of accidents, or maybe cases in the labor code or whatever. So we take this over. Time series is basically to know whether a measure is actually successful or not successful. This again, see what happens is auditors suggest controls, managements put it in, and then they want to know what is the result. 3 years back we did this. We started training our employees. After you train, they're all leaving, then it's a waste of money. But after you train, your productivity has gone up, sales has gone up, then it is good. So we need to show the benefit or the lack of benefit of something over a period of time. Then we use line drawings. Now, a scatter graph is generally rare, but here what we are trying to show is there a relationship between two different entities, like, for instance, purchases and returns, or purchases and sales. Sometimes you may want to look at even peculiar things like employee remuneration and sales, or sometimes when auditors do their own, when they do their own analytics, when they take up new audits, or maybe even existing audits, you notice an increase in payroll. Is it followed by an increase in production? Or is it increase in sales? Is it followed by an increase in debtors? Suppose your sales is going up, debtors are also going up. Obviously, it's fictitious sales. So, I mean, we're not talking forensics, but basic trend patterns, suspicions, where we want to see whether what looks unrelated may be related. You may also be looking at a lot of things today. We have so many regulators to whom you report. Now we must see whether two unrelated things are showing a pattern. Maybe the pattern is coincidental, that is possible. If it is coincidental, go to the line graph and then plot it over a period of time. But generally it won't be coincidental. Companies are not very vast. Like, we won't have completely unrelated data. Try to see the relationship, because these are early warning, they call it red flags, early warning indicators of something which may go wrong or could go wrong. Now, these are all the newer ones, bubble graphs, area graphs. Now, what they do is you take more than one variable, and each variable get a different color, and the size of this circle, or the bubble as it's called, indicates its value. So, for instance, we may have 4 things here: sales, maybe it's freight cost, packing cost, something like that. And then we draw these bubbles. And these can be drawn over a period of time. We can have a moving graph also. And the thing is, it shows it to very clearly. Of course, it's all in the same color here. But when you change colors, you will know immediately that when you started selling a particular product, maybe a perishable, your packing cost is going up, or your courier cost is going up. And if you notice, like even like Big Basket or Amazon or whatever, they have minimum order quantity, otherwise delivery is charged for. In Swiggy does that. Now we need to look at, mainly this will be very useful in production manufacturing units. Service, there won't be too many related costs, but also budgets when you're dealing with things which sometimes we think are not related, because these will not show us much information, bar and line. This will show you the size of the bubble is an immediate eye catcher. You want to know what is wrong. For instance, let's say we're coaching students. We're having pass and fail, but then we want to know those who dropped out, those who never turned up for the exam. Then we want to know, why did they drop out? I mean, is there a problem? Is there an alternative? I mean, there are many things which this brings out. For all auditors, generally I would suggest that when you write a report in the executive summary at the beginning, to include actually we call it a heat risk map. Okay, it doesn't matter what risk it is. We can make it whatever, 3 colors, 5 colors, 9 colors. It's all left to us. I mean, it's basically that. It's not so much the colors, it's more, once you put this across, and then we're able to show likelihood, and or you can use a dithering diagram also, whichever you want. But this is for showing, it's not geographical, because we may not be showing geographical unless you have a company with a lot of warehouses or distributed centers like petrol bunks and so on. But we would be showing these more for risks, saying that certain things are more likelihood and probability, so your risks are higher, some risks are lower. We need to bring this out, because most of the time, even from middle level onwards, they really know the business, they already understand, but they may not know the risk of maybe not wearing a helmet during construction, the risk of not taking PF or insurance for contract labor. Now we need to point out those risks, because usual question the audit committee will ask you is, what's the penalty? Where in the law does it say I have to do this? So whenever your risks are high, try to tag it to a penalty or a legal requirement or something. So it's very easy, self-explanatory, plus it drives home the point. It tells the story very forcefully. So again, just to summarize on what I said, be clear with the story, use that as a qualitative or quantitative, make sure the picture is self-explanatory, and then choose the right type, like whatever bar or pie diagram, or whatever lines or heat maps, bubbles. And then of course, you can speak to your audience, or your presentation can speak to the audience. Speak in the sense that it's so clear that people understand it. Or you can record the voiceover, because many times they say mail the presentation. So presentation alone is no use. You can record whatever you want to say. It's all part of the PowerPoint itself, and then send it to them. Okay, that's the first part. Actually, that's the more traditional part of our presentation. But now what I will do is I will just show you some of these pages which we have opened up. I have already opened it in the browser. Okay. What I have done is I have already opened those, whatever you saw in that slide. I'm sharing the screen with you. So I will start with the okay, now let me start with, see, these are all taken from a site. Okay, this is not the site. The site is, actually I had it on the thing, it's called d3js.org. It's on the slide, the last slide, which I quickly skipped through. I will show you the slide. So the last slide, which I quickly skipped through here, I've taken these as links, but this is from d3js.org. I have clicked on 3 examples. The site is d3js.org. The other site which I've opened is called chartjs.org. So all are open source. You can use them for whatever you require. Now, all of you would have seen the program with this venture capital program, investors program called the Shark Tank. You can see it on YouTube or on Discovery, or most of the channels have it. Now, this is called a sunburst diagram. The code is given below here. Whoever is in audit offices, usual complaint is I don't have programmers. You don't need programmers. These are web pages nowadays. In schools also, they learn them. So you can get a school or a college student part-time also to do this. Or if you have people who can learn, they can go to the w3schools.org free site, can learn these. Okay, now let me explain the diagram. Now this is animated, it's a web page, and even if it's there in your PowerPoint, it doesn't matter. It will go as a local web page, it will open in the local browser. You don't have to put it on a web server. Now when you come to the center, actually we can have data here also. It's just a demo I'm showing you. Now let us start with one of these. So what it says is 61% starts with this sequence. So why do we say sequence? It can be anything. It can be home page for a web. This actually, the idea started with web analytics. How many people visit a page? How many links down do they travel, and so on. But this can be products, additional products bought. It can be add-ons. It can be whatever accidents, damages, pilferage, and if you're talking power generation, it can be losses. There are many data you can show, particularly in terms of breakup. And this is far better than your pie chart. Now, let's say we started with this, and we know this blue thing shows us 61% off something, maybe coffee drinkers or those who order only snacks in a restaurant, something like that. Now, if you move on to the next one, I just moved it here. Now it says out of the 61%, 21% moved to this one. So when we say snacks, is it deep fried? Is it oilless? Is it like healthy snacks? organic snacks, whatever, if it's a restaurant, of course, or if it is anything else, whatever it may be, logistics, maybe it's container stuffing, whatever it may be. Now from here, if I move to another block, it says only 3.72 move in here. Let's say this is out of this total packing, the sealed containers, 21%. In that sealed container, air-conditioned sealed containers is only 3% of our traffic. And I'm moving again further. Out of these air-conditioned containers, only 2% are perishable foods. Maybe it is fruits, vegetables, seafood, whatever. And within that, we have got only 0.684 of the traffic which is moving to US or Japan. And within that, again, only 0.332, which is going to Tokyo or a specific landlocked port, or maybe it's going to a seaport. So what you find now is by the time I get to one of these last lines, I know in terms pie diagram also gives you percentages, but this is very specific. Either you do it on the screen or your audience, I mean, whoever it may be, directors or managers or whoever, they can see this data themselves. Now you move somewhere else, 34%, go to a bigger bar, 13%, then I'm moving to a 0.89. Again, it's getting smaller, smaller. But the only thing is we have to label all of these. Typical example is web pages. So we have the home page, normal home page, login home page. From the normal home page, how do people travel? For instance, let's say they go to your free papers, white papers, then they come to some topic, say auditing, and after that nobody's moving. That means they're not reading. But when they come to something else like ready-made computer programs, then people are moving upward, and finally they may reach download, or they may say see it online, or they want more information. So we'll know where our data breakup is happening. So you can, anyway, these are all demos, free stuff. So you can see all this product, it'll change. So whatever names we have. Now, those of who are looking at the code, this is the code in the JavaScript. It's not very big, and cut paste it also, because most time for demos, I normally cut it and then change the data, only data you change. So once you change the data, you will get a new graph. So it's done, and it can read CSV files. It says you don't have to generate a JSON file. JSON files, you know, when you download your large TDS or large GST, they give it as JSON files. So that's also possible. So this is one thing which we are now looking at. One type of graph. It's called sunburst diagram. Okay, now let's look at another diagram. So, okay, now this is this gives you a map. Today, geospatial diagrams are very important when you're working with maybe MNCs, or not even MNCs, even if you're working with exporters, importers, or people who are transferring data like BPOs, call centers. They work across countries, but right now we're looking at some coffee, coffee growth thing. So what you do is there is a graph which is showing you, I'll just reduce the page size. So it gets smaller and smaller, so we can see both at the same time. Still have to get smaller. Okay, I made it small enough and it won't be readable, but just to bring both on the screen. So if you, let's say, clicked on India, for instance, you can see the lines which are changing at the bottom. You can see the lines which change. You click on, each country will give a different thing. You can even look at competing countries, purchasing countries. Now, in China, for instance, is as bad as India when it comes to coffee or whatever. But if you take the South American countries, they're pretty huge. And certain countries like here, this Java, Sumatra and all that, they produce a lot of coffee. So coffee is only an example. You may have so many different crops. Or actually, if you're working with agricultural states, today they can have 100% EOU exports, like they export Virginia tobacco. So they get these saplings, customs clears it. Then after planting, when it grows, they have to export it. It's compulsory. The next drawing I want to show you is, all these are from d3js.org JavaScript. The next drawing I want to show you is, see in this case of this investors, I don't know if you've seen this program, but if you haven't, please see it on either YouTube or Discovery. You'll see there are a lot of people as Mark, Barbara, these are all the different people. But actually this drawing we modify mainly for remittances, for FEMA requirements, or if you're doing export imports, various things you could do. Now let's say this is called a chord diagram, CHORD. And the code will be somewhere down here. You'll have to scroll down to see it. Of course, there are a lot of examples here, like valuation and all that. You can do various things. You can do a lot of analysis. So now if you look at this person called Mark, if I highlight this, you find that most of the time, this person keeps funding his own projects. Or he'll fund it only with one or two partners. He partners either with Laurie or he partners with Barbara, but generally he's a loner. But if you take some other person, okay, I'll take Laurie because that's most of the time, this person, Laurie, this lady partners with others. So you can see the trends for her. She doesn't do it herself most of the time. She's got some own stuff also, but most of the time she partners with others. Now you can see the thing like, say, Laurie prefers partnerships, etc. But when you do remittances, we'll know from which country we are getting inflows, which country we are getting outflows. Maybe you do it for a bank. You can do it for AML, that's called anti-money laundering. You can do it for your exports for your own clients. Or you can also see region-wise sales, normally for biscuit factories and bread factories, whether the factory is able to sell it to other locations or they're selling it only to the same location, cement plants, sugar cane also, whether the cane is... See, cane commissioners will ask you to encourage only nearby growers, but maybe the quality is not good. So many of these newer companies import raw sugar and sell refined sugar. So a lot of these trends we get. Now, each card is one entity, and then we want to see the relationship between one card and the rest of the cards. What's the relationship? Uber also, they will do same neighborhood, different neighborhood. Swiggy has now, in big cities, they've expanded to you can order food from distant locations also. Distant means like more than 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers. But what you'll find is popular food is classified, pattern analysis, and they open Swiggy kitchens where it's not a restaurant, but food is brought by truck and stored in the Swiggy kitchens, which are like distribution or stock points. Deliveries take place from there. These are all techniques you would use to get that kind of data. Okay, so we saw 3 of these here. So let's go to something else. So okay, I'll take you on to the next one, which is called chart.js. Now, this is a different site. That was d3js.org. This is called chartjs.org. This will more or less tag with what I told you earlier. Click on samples, which you see here. And then if you have a vertical chart, of course, it will show you what's the data. And so this is not animated, but it will show you the data points and all the data. You can go to various charts, stack bars, and so on. Here we have the line charts. So in line charts, again, we have so many of them, interpolation models. You can see the menus here. You can see all of them. We have other charts, like I did bubble. I mentioned this bubble, so every bubble, it will tell you what it is. You have scatter, etc., and so on. You can do area charts, which are range charts, like whatever you wish to do. Line chart, draw time, areas under. See, most of the time, when you are presenting schedules, data, numbers, I find it all in the appendix, tons and tons of attachments. People won't really read them because nobody has the patience. What we do is you put in the executive summary or make a separate PowerPoint with these graphs. Give the other also, give the full report, that's fine. That's good, but this is what your management will really read. That's where the value to we call it value addition by the internal auditor. We have got these various scales, log scales, linear scales, etc. And then you got these legends, titles, subtitles. So you may go through all of these. Animations, of course, we don't have much, so it comes slowly. It's more like PowerPoint, actually. And then you can, don't worry about the plugins right now, but you can just go through these because I've already told you all this bar, line, pie area we didn't do, but bubble we did, and so on. So what you find is there is enough code, all the code, I just went to sample straight away, but but enough code is there. So you can work with the home. Once you go there, they tell you what to install, how to create the chart, what's the code you require. Everything is all there. Contribution is if you're putting your examples there. So I'll just use maybe one of them and okay, this is actually from the PC Magazine, where we get free visualization tools, a lot of them on the market. Google search will give it to you. You can use these tools also, but what I'm suggesting is before the tool, we have to learn how to use it and so on. So instead of that, what we could do is we could straight away go to people who have already done it. I mean, later on we'll definitely d3js.org. So we will learn. I mean, basically, easiest thing to do is start with something somebody has done, and then you can write the code and then start using a tool and so on. Otherwise, you get discouraged because you're not getting the right graph. So go to examples, and when I took the examples from here, some of them, and then you'll find that okay, if I took some specific example, let's say a bar chart for racing. Okay, so this is the code here. So okay, the code is down here. So you can get the code, and JavaScript is not difficult. These are all web pages. It's very easy to understand. You can use the JavaScript straight away, and you could start producing pictures. You'll get very good pictures, and you can also see these. What happens is it keeps on moving. These are like streaming data. Streaming data means you have seen on the network monitoring tools and so on. Or you can use Scraggle, or you can use Yahoo Finance. You can use, a lot of people have data on it. So as your ears change or as the streaming data is coming in, you can see how these alter. You can stop it also. Click on something to stop it. Whatever, I mean, so you can, if you replay again, it will start. Now, you don't have, actually there are much better stuff than this, but okay. Anyway, right now what I want you to do is maybe look at these the sites, where d3js.org is the site I'm talking about. Don't worry about this product pricing and all that. See, there are people who put their samples here and then they try to sell it to you, but you don't have to really buy it. What you do is you just download any of these. For instance, the one I showed you there was this one, Sequences Sunburst. Read the code, modify it. It doesn't matter if it's, you can do it for a sample report or some old report, it doesn't matter. And once you do it, you can see a lot of diagrams. In fact, this is the card diagram which we generally use for teaching, because this is the easiest source code available. The entire source code is given to you here. It's a little long, but it's fine. So this data part here, you will have to change. See, you can see this data here. You'll have to change. Put in anything you want, I mean, your own audit report data. And then you run it. So as I told you, if you click it here, you'll get something and so on. Right now, this is the code part of it. We can look at other examples also. So we could do a lot of things. So I think we are on time now. So we have a lot of templates which you could also look at. These observable templates and so on. They give a lot of stuff like you get vector graphics, simple vector graphics. You get simple HTML canvas. You can work with it. I mean, there are a lot of things out here. So AWS stands for Amazon Web Servers. A lot of people go for cloud servers now, so you can pull it out. SQLite is for the SQL. We have a lot of those, so you can seriously look at these. So now going quickly back to our presentation. Yeah, just quickly running back here. Okay, this is a slide which we were on, and you can, these are examples, you could use them, and you saw the examples also. So if you have any questions, I will take them now. Do you have any questions? Don't seem to be any questions. So can I wind up for now? Shailesh ji, I don't see him. Can Mr. Sivaram take over now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for your session.
Okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I wish all of you will try out these sites, and then probably you can get back later also. No problem.
I would request now Nitin Malik, sir, to introduce our next session of the day. Speaker of the day, CA Sivaram Subramanian. Over to you, Nitin, sir.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, sir.
Hello. Thank you, Kunalji. I think Mr. Sivaram has yet not joined in the panel.
I have joined, Nitinji.
He is there.
Sorry,
no issues.
It gives me thank you, sir. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce Mr. Sivaram, who is now visible to all. Earlier, he was not visible to me only. Mr. Sivaram is working as a chief audit executive at Titan Company. He has 28 years of internal audit experience, both in consulting and industry. He had worked across wide spectrum of corporates covering MNCs, American, European, Asian, Indian listed companies, as well as promoter-driven organizations. His industry domain experience ranges from infrastructure, manufacturing, aviation, telecom, consumer durable, FMCG, retail, hospitality, etc., etc., etc. His work domain encompasses several aspects such as audit, compliance, SOX, ERM, COSO 2013, Ethics Committee, Whistleblower Program. In his various roles, he had led several corporate governance agendas and has been an integral part of the several cross-functional teams on various large-scale transformation and strategic projects. His team was awarded IIA Award 2019 for Best Use of Technology for Automated Analytics and Continued Auditing. I welcome Mr. Sivaram on the dais for the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitinji. A very good afternoon to everyone. Namaskar, Deviyon or Sajano. I hope I'm audible. I'll just share my screen in few minutes. But right now, I am getting the sense that most of you guys are going to watch a Tushar Kapoor movie after watching an Amitabh Bachchan movie. That's how I could guess Dr. Jayakar's presentation was all about. So let me just present my screen and start my... Is the screen visible, Nitinji?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. We're going to talk about data journey today. And at the upfront, at the onset, I must inform everyone what I'm going to talk about is not going to be as glamorous as so-called technologically advanced as Dr. Jayakar had presented. Obviously, those are the call of the day. I am looking at also talking about the power of a tool which all of us use, Excel, in our journey on the data analytics, and how typically all of us as in the service or in the profession can use this data analytics journey to make a difference to our stakeholders, be it clients or our audit committees and senior management. So let me start my presentation with a slightly apolitical statement to make. Now, data analytics a few years back, I'm talking probably 5-6 years back, this was a common joke on data analytics that this is like a teenage sex. Everyone talks about it. No one knows how to do it. Everyone thinks everyone else is doing. So they also claim that they are doing it. So, everyone was confused, kya ho raha hai? But everyone would say we are into data analytics. But what really happens? So, I don't know what really is happening. So let me also say, okay, my bit of data analysis. So that was a couple of years back. Now, the point to ponder is, where are we now? If we look at it, even now, and this is a 2020 survey on the Fortune 1000 C-suite executives, that only roughly around 27% of the firms have, when I say firms, organizations, have been reporting to have a very forged data culture. and less than 40% said they were data driven. And only 45% were they saying that now they are competing in the data analytics field, so on and so forth. So nothing much has changed. In fact, the scale at which data capturing and big data in terms of size and scale is growing, probably data analytics is at a much, much, much slower pace. Having said that, even the baby steps that we can take in data analytics today create a much, much more larger impact. So I would just move ahead. So to say that, if any one of you guys feel that, we're not doing much, trust me, not many are doing too much. So it's not that we have to catch up a very, very long handicap. It's not very far. The biggest challenge is how to use the data. That's the hardest part. It is all there. It is just using it, which is a challenge. And data analytics in internal audit, how does it help? And what does it probably bring to our forte is that you can move from a core to more, from a simple dal roti, a small audit on accounts payable or an audit on HR or an audit on manufacturing. You can actually give your customer, your stakeholders, a much, much more buffet-driven product, whereby you can talk about a much larger things rather than focusing only on one audits or two audits per se. So the core to more is one of the preliminary data analytics journey. The second is a how to wow. Today, everyone is wondering on, how to do it and what is happening and how is this happening. The data analytics is going to allow or, lead your stakeholders to come to a wow factor. The third is there to here. Now, obviously, COVID pandemic has done a lot of stuff there, but it still makes us enable, rather than going to a plant or a location or a distributor or a depot, to a whole lot of things from a centralized setup. And the last thing, it allows us to move from a sample scenario to an ample scenario. Gone are the days where, as internal auditors, we can say, I picked up 25 samples, I picked up 30 samples, I picked up 50 samples. Is my sample representative of the population? Gone are those days. Now we really need to be talking about what does the whole universe talk about. It's not merely a sample. And therefore, I'm saying the journey is now from a sample to ample. You give an example of 25 cases, they'll probably come back and give 100 explanations for those 25 cases. But when you talk about the whole universe, one, it could actually reassure you also, okay, there are probably only 20 odd cases from a 1 lakh database, or this 1 lakh database is probably talking about a 25,000 of exceptions or crossing the threshold. So this is what data analytics is going to support in internal audit, is supporting in internal audit today. And what's the journey you need to focus on? As internal auditors, we look at process obedience. And when I say process obedience, means process compliances. Data analytics is actually going to support you in commenting upon the process objective. If I'm looking at a supply chain audit, do I need to really talk about 3 codes? Do I need to really talk about consolidation of load or what? To a process objective where actually the data analytics will help you tell the clients that, listen, your cost per delivery has actually been going up, going down, flat, or what? And therefore, more than just an output of an audit report or an exception, data analytics is going to support you and demonstrate outcome. It is going to actually lead the customers, your stakeholders, to actually get derived benefits out of them. And the last is, the movement is from data to data, which basically means that we no longer are dependent on God to give us the right set of samples to identify an issue or whatever it is. It is not a shot in the dark. It is not our luck. It is purely data which is going to demonstrate our work and also our certification. Is there a problem or there is no problem? So that's where the transition needs to happen in the analytics journey. Now I'm going to talk about everything. A couple of months back, I was teaching my daughter to drive the car, and you say A, B, C, accelerator, brake, clutch. These are the 3 core components of anything. In data analytics, what is it? What is the ABC? Now, analytics is obviously the A. And what does analytics do is that it converts a belief into a certainty. Now, what do I mean by this? बिलीफ और सर्टेनिटी में ये फर्क है कि अगर कोई आपसे पूछे 2+2 क्या होता है, यू विल नेवर से आई बिलीव इट इज 4, यू विल से इट इज 4. देयर इज अ सर्टेनिटी टू दैट, देयर इज नो डाउट, कोई असमंजस नहीं है, देयर इज नो समथिंग कि ये होगा नहीं होगा. एंड एनालिटिक्स सपोर्ट्स द सेम थिंग. देयर इज अ बिलीफ इन द आईज ऑफ द स्टेक होल्डर, इन द माइंड्स ऑफ द कोर मैनेजमेंट, दैट यार ये ठीक चल रहा है, शायद ये ठीक नहीं चल रहा है. और डेटा एनालिटिक्स इज एक्चुअली गोइंग टू कन्वर्ट इनटू अ सर्टेनिटी. Yes, it is working fine, or no, there are clearly opportunities for improvement, opportunities of missed revenue realizations or cost optimization. So that is the pure ABC. Aapka analytics should not just lead to another standard high false positive based outputs. It has to convert a belief into certainty. That is where whenever you venture into an analytics project, you need to make sure that is that being achieved or not. What are the stages in data analytics? Now, I'm going to very quickly run through it, and as I said, I'm going to talk about data analytics more as using Excel. So I'm going to give some live cases and live examples around that. So you have internal audit, which assures the management, the board, the audit committee that things are going fine or not going fine. Then comes to your advisory role, where you could include this continuous monitoring, where the data analytics is again used to give them continuously saying, okay, listen, is my schemes and discounts behaving in a particular manner? Is my quality control behaving in a particular manner? And the third thing is predictive, where you are able to predict the risks basis the transactions or data which you have in hand today. And I'll come across each one of them very specifically. But just if you look at this particular stage transition, in the assure mode, you corroborate with your customers, you corroborate with your process owners. That means basically you collect information and show them something. In continuous monitoring, you collaborate with them, tell them what he needs, give them only the exceptions, eliminate the false positive, and thereby it becomes his tool to manage his operations. And finally, predictive, where you do your consulting activity saying, hey, listen, these are the set of data. If you look at these set of data, this is the problem. And I'll explain with real life examples on how we are talking about a predictive using data analytics. And in terms of timeline, internal audit normally looks at distant past or maybe near past. Continuous monitoring is more around real time. And lastly, predictive is talking about future. Now, when I look at internal audit, what do? Data analytics helps you in zeroing on potential problems. And what do I say by zeroing in on potential problems? A very, very classic case, how many purchase orders created with or without PR. That's the first set of information that will only talk about, okay, is there a problem? Could there be a potential problem? And then you do an insightful sampling and a validation, and then you do a sizing and scaling of the problem. Now, let me take some examples here. 1 second, please. Let me take some examples here, and I'll talk about ghost employees. Now, in ghost employees, one second, sorry. In ghost employees, we're talking about scenario where, you do your data analytics by taking an employee master. And how do you figure out who is possibly not a real employee and is just in my payroll database? You do an analytics on everything that an employee does in an organization and see which an employee is not doing. Any employee who's never filed a leave application, any employee who has not filed a single reimbursement, any employee who has not taken any, genuine tax benefit options of submitting medical bills, LTAs, any employee who has not been promoted at all. Now, these are zeroing in on your potential problems. This data will help you to do a very logical sampling. Looking at a set of these kind of people, you can say, okay, now I want to go ahead and see physically these 20 people who have not taken a leave ever. What have they done? Okay, so that is the zeroing in on potential problems. I'll also take an example of sales return. I don't have examples, real life examples in terms of, and these are real life examples, but in terms of the Excel files, I'll show you those in the next lot of activities. Sales return, I'm giving a very classic example. There was this company which was into FMCG business, and they were finding a lot of sales return happening. And they were really, confused as to why this is happening. This company was on a cash and carry basis. So obviously the distributors were paying money upfront, collecting the material which was being delivered by the CFAs to this distributor premises. But still they will say, "Hame to ye maal chahiye hi nahi tha, वापस ले जाओ." Okay. And because he has paid, it was not a worry about it being a dumping of sales. So when we were given this task of looking into it, we did extremely large number of data analysis. We looked at what is the profiling of customers, what is the profiling of distances, what is the profiling of the truck which takes it, the transporter which takes it. We did a pin code analysis, we did a zone-wise analysis, district analysis, Jilla analysis, a whole lot of things. And obviously each of these analyses were throwing some things but not really coming to a problem. Then the only one thing which was a very, very clear identification through data analytics was the fact that any loading which was taking place, we did a bay analysis, loading time analysis, any loading which was taking place between 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. were where there was a large chunk of sales return. And that is what we did by zeroing in on potential problems, looking at sampling and validation, physically went around that time and looked at that place for 1 week at a stretch. And that is when we realized that the company had different products, similar products with different variants, and each variant was coming under a different carton. Now, in order to optimize on the carton cost, what they did, they put all the variant names on the carton so that it could be used for any variant, and put a tick, and the guy would put a tick as to which variant was there inside that box carton. And the CFAs also had to convert all their yellow bulbs into CFL bulbs for proper lighting and cost saving and sustainability issue. And what we saw that A, they had not put those CFL bulbs, and B, because around 5 to 7 is when the warehouse is slightly darker, that the guys were picking items with the wrong tick. So if I have asked for, let's say it was a chips manufacturing, so if I have asked for masala, I have sent tomato flavored chips, because they were not able to identify, the loaders were not able to identify the ticks properly in light, in a very dim light. So this again was a case which was through data analytics, and we didn't hit the nail at the first go, but doing these multiple analysis helped us in identifying a potential problem and doing an insightful sampling and validation. And obviously then it helped us in saying, okay, what percentage of sales are happening between 5 to 7 p.m., what percentage is returned there, and therefore what is the impact, so on and so forth. It is very important also that, to inculcate data analytics in our daily work, we as a process have actually incorporated it in our Teams KRA. I'll just show you a case of KRA. If this is available. For me, in my KRAs, use of analytics is a 15%, and suggestion for analytics is another 5%. So analytics per se is 20% of my team's KRA. Okay, so it's very important that we as internal auditors and teams include this as a very conscious part of our KRA. In my team, everyone has to give a very valid reason as to why he did not use analytics, be it any audit for that matter. So that's the part that can be used very much into the internal audit aspect. Coming to the continuous monitoring, we all have standard risk libraries. We do IA analytics in the previous section we talked about. We know the red flags, understand the false positives, and we get an analysis insight listing कि भाई हम ये सारी चीजें कर सकते हैं. And then typically, let me show you some examples of these before I come back to this slide. Okay, now this is all Excel. This is all Excel, and I'll tell you what this means. Basically, what we saw was that we have a lot of franchisees. When we sell something on discount, we come up with a 25% discount, 1 + 1 free, or whatever it is. The franchisee would do that, and whatever additional cost in terms of these additional discount he offers through the schemes, we reimburse him. So what we saw as a potential problem was that The franchisee sold me a watch, let's say 10 days back, when the scheme was not there. Today, the scheme has been launched. What he does is that he shows this as a sale return, and then he shows this again as rebill to me. आज जब वो bill करेगा तो उसमें discount का percentage automatically आ जाएगा और वो मेरे से claim करेगा. Now it's possible that I have not even gone to that shop. He is simply, I have bought the watch and gone from that city. He is purposefully doing a fictitious sale return and a rebilling. And that was the risk we were talking about. And what did we do? We made this entire thing in Excel simply using a sale and sale return register. Simple Excel download. And what are the benefits that we gave to the user? I said, bhai, aap batao, what do you believe? हो सकता है कल किसी ने खरीदा, आज स्कीम चल गई, उसने बोला बॉस मेरे को तो अगर पता होता तो मैं कल ही आ जाता. He would have said, ठीक है, हमें कस्टमर फ्रेंडली होना है तो हमें देना है. So what is a time? If he comes within 5 days, if he comes within 10 days, if he comes within 20 days, let the controller put that number here. So let's say I say 5 days. Okay. And you see, this is all happening in Excel, and this is my desk. I'm not connected to any network apart from internet network in my system. This is my desk. This goes as an email to the person out there. Okay. And let's say कितने दिन में rebilling हो गई? आज खरीदा और तीन महीने बाद बेचा है तो कोई इश्यू नहीं है. तो कितने दिन में रीबिलिंग होगी? अगर मैं कहता हूं 2 दिन में रीबिलिंग हुई है, and there you say it automatically it talks about what's the discount amount, what's the number of customers, number of stores, I don't know whether it is visible, but I'll just make it big also for you. Okay, so now if I change this 5 to 10, you'll see that this 15,000 has become 13,000. If I change this to 2, this 13,000 has become 18,000. If I change this to 5, maybe no change has happened. Let's say 10. Some changes are happening. So let me go do it back to 5. Yeah. So if you look at it in the South region from 19, if I make it 10, automatically it is changing to 20 and it is giving me the top 3 stores and the top 3 customers. Now, that's not just enough. If I need to see all cases, koi threshold nahi dena hai. All I need to do is here, it makes this 0 and it makes this as 267 and you get the entire detail. Now that's not the only thing. Well, how does this help? Now the next drilling is available. That you get everything out here. If I just remove all these filters, you're getting all options. I want to check only February mein kya hua. You will get all invoice dates of February. I want to check East mein kya hua. You'll get all East. I want to check East store mein kya hua. You'll get only for that. So it says that 4 फरवरी को रिटर्न हुआ, 5 फरवरी को नया इनवॉइस बना, पहला इनवॉइस भी 4 फरवरी को मिला, कौन सा स्टोर कोड है, कौन सा कस्टमर है, क्या आइटम है और कितना डिस्काउंट गया. So that's the level of drill down you are seeing in simple Excel, and that is what it keeps going every month to the controllers and the region people, and they do their own part of activity and work on this. So what I was trying to say here is that, so this was a standard risk that the franchisee misuses the discount. We did it in IA. We identified it in IA. We raised it at an audit issue. They did not have a system check. We identified the red flags and kahan false positives hoga. By immediately एक ही दिन में हो रहा है तो वो case genuine हो सकता है. So we gave them that feedback. आप 1 दिन ले लो, 3 दिन ले लो, 5 दिन ले लो, जो आपको लेना है आप call ले लो. And we've done this analytics. So my point is, now what was in internal audit as an analytics has now moved as continuous monitoring. Every month, a simple Excel goes to these people saying, boss, is mahine ka ye hai. And it keeps getting added. So we do a trailing 12 months activity. The only important thing is you seek what is required from the customers, from your stakeholders. Keep it very simple. Now, obviously, I know Dr. Jaikar has talked about fairly complex and very good visualization. But when you look at these people, they are actually keen to see what is the real problem, where is the real problem, can you just help me to drill down to that level? Provide flexibility. That's the third line I'm talking about, that you give them that opportunity to, play around with it. And attack area by area. एक साथ don't boil the ocean कि मैं एक साथ 100 analytics निकाल के लाऊंगा. 1 निकालो, 2 निकालो, 3 निकालो. महीने का 1 टारगेट रख लो, महीने के 2 टारगेट रख लो, 2 महीने में 3 का टारगेट रख लीजिए. You attack area by area. Don't make it audit reports. Send it to them. Let it be their tool. आप जब उसका ऑडिट करने आओगे बोलोगे भाई हर महीने में आपको ये देता था, आपने क्या किया उसका. Don't make it an audit report seeking explanations. Then you will get a lot of pushback in a continuous manner. My own view, don't burden it with too many visualization. Too many visualizations are very good when you present. Too many visualizations are very good when you are making a presentation. But when it comes to usage, don't burden with too many visualizations. Don't look at standard report. I took this example, POs without PR, it automatically comes from our ERPs. Don't look at standard reports. They will not get the sense that you are adding value. And don't publish common reports. When I say don't publish common reports, what I mean is, I'll give you an example. This is a very classic case of PO splitting. Okay. We all know PO split hote hain to avoid the schedule of authorities and all. Now I have all these list of places where this PO splitting could have happened. Now the moment I give this, a Helios guy, which is a brand in our format, would want to see, acha, IT mein kya ho raha hai? Because normally people who never see this would see this. Now this is again Excel. In the Excel itself, if he clicks on IT, if he clicks on IT, okay, my apologies, it's currently not working. Anyway, so the way we had done it, and my apologies, I'm not able to demonstrate, but if you click on IT, there is a password which will be required. You share the passwords to individual people of their own. One second, I think I'll be able to show. So if he clicks on IT, yeah, the password is asked. Okay, he will not have it. Then, in fact, this is a previous version. In the next version, even this was not seen by them. You could click on Helios. It will see now it doesn't see the Helios password. Now I have kept the password list separately, so I'll have to open it and see it. Just give me a second. Oh yeah, this is it. So Helios ka password yahan pe hai i@hl2010. So if I click on Helios, i@hl2010, he can see it. So no one else can see anything else. The Helios guy will not know the other password. He will not be able to open it. So try and this is all Excel, ladies and gentlemen. This is nothing, and these have been created by people in a span of 3 months. Sorry, primarily by understanding or learning only from Google. Okay, they made a lot of efforts. I cannot discredit the efforts, but these people who made this at that point of time, they did not even have an idea of how an Excel macro is written. In 3 months' time, without taking any certification course, going through Google, using the help of Google, they've been able to create this level of Excel. So what I'm trying to say is that you guys have very, very strong tool in Excel. Do not underestimate it. And I'm demonstrating these in real life example. Sorry. Let me come back to the presentation. So this is what I meant by saying don't publish common reports. So that is in the continuous monitoring part. How much time do we have? We have some predictive. Now predictive is very interesting part because how do you predict कुछ होने वाला है? आप पास देखते हैं, वाउचर साइन नहीं हुआ, काम हो गया, गलत हुआ, ज्यादा रेट पे बिल कर दिया, कम रेट पे बिल कर दिया, तो आप प्रेडिक्टिव कैसे करेंगे? इसके लिए आपको फंडामेंटली ये स्टेप्स फॉलो करने हैं. आप अपने ऑडिट ऑब्जर्वेशंस देखिए, रूट कॉज देखिए, और सिर्फ आप अपने रूट कॉज को मत देखिए, रियल कॉज देखिए. अब मैं इस पे आता हूं, रूट कॉज और रियल कॉज क्या है. आप कल को बोलते हो कि भाई मेरा ओवर टाइम एक्सेस हो गया. ओके, रूट कॉज आपका होता है कि भाई मॉनिटर नहीं हो रहा, या कोई प्रोसेस नहीं है, कोई अप्रूवल नहीं है. दैट्स नॉट द रूट कॉज. रियल कॉज इज because the number of people you have is not enough to maintain your production schedule. That is why a guy is working overtime, or there is a production inefficiency. You talk about the trends to identify that potential, and that becomes a candidate for your predictive analytics. Now, typically इसमें ना budgeting impact होता है. Budget production है मेरे पास, overtime achieve करेगा. Vehicle overloading. Now, I was working with a company which was an infra company, and it was dealing in ports and logistics. So very clearly, we used to do this. उधर टारगेट्स होते थे, इतने टन का काम करना है. ओके, आप एक दिन में इतने ट्रक्स मैनेज कर सकते हो, एक ट्रक की कैपेसिटी इतनी है। 15 तारीख तक we would never do anything. On the 15th, I'll say, okay, I was supposed to do X million ton. I have done X by 2 million ton. X by 2 मुझे और करना है। एक दिन में एक स्टैंडर्ड एल्गोरिदम के हिसाब से मैं कितने टन कर सकता हूं, उस हिसाब से टू अचीव माई टारगेट, am I going to overload my vehicles or not? How many locations are in green? How many are in orange? How many are in red? Send this to all of them individually saying, hey, either you miss your target or you're going to end up being overloading. So that's predictive. Or it is time driven. MSME payments 45 दिन में करना है। कितने ऐसे केसेस हैं जहां मैं डिफॉल्ट कर सकता हूं? क्वालिटी चेक, अगर मुझे पता है कि मेरी एस्टिमेटेड डिलीवरी ऑफ 500 items is going to come in the next 2 days and it takes me 80 items is what I can do maximum. I know that there will be a problem and quality checks will not be done fully. If I say मेरे पास एक आदमी है, उसको करने में 10 मिनट लगते हैं, 6 में 1 घंटे में कर सकता हूं, 8 घंटे में मैं 48 कर सकता हूं, थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा काम कर लिया 60 कर सकता हूं। अगर मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि भाई आज 80 आने वाले हैं, obviously I can't do a quality check. And that is a predictive for you saying, boss, इन दिनों में शायद क्वालिटी चेक हो जाए ऑन पेपर, बट रियल लाइफ में एक्चुअली क्वालिटी चेक ना हुई हो। ये कैसे आपने निकाला होगा? आपने एक ऑडिट किया होगा, वहां आपको पता लगा होगा कि 3 चीजें बिना क्वालिटी चेक के पास हो गई हैं। आपने रूट कॉज लिखा होगा कि भाई सिस्टम नहीं है, मेकर चेकर नहीं है वापस, बट रियल कॉज क्या था? उसको 100 निकालने थे, वो 100 कर नहीं सकता। दैट इज व्हाट आई मीन बाय सेइंग द रियल कॉज। लेट मी गिव यू फ्यू एग्जांपल्स हियर अगेन। थोड़ा सा डेटेड है बट इट्स इन ब्लूप्रिंट। ये हमारी, जैसे मैंने आपको बोला था लोडिंग का, ये हमारा ओवर टाइम का है। ये एम्प्लॉय नंबर्स है, ये पूरे डिपार्टमेंट्स हैं। ये कह रहा है कि इस एम्प्लॉय ने 15 अगस्त तक 10 घंटे काम किया है। कितने दिन काम किया है? 1 दिन। टोटल ओटी कितना है? 1 घंटा, क्योंकि 9 घंटे एक दिन में मैं काम कर सकता हूं। अब मैंने ये कहा कि भाई मेरे को बाकी 30 दिन में कितना काम करना है, इतने घड़ियां बनानी है या इतना मेरा प्रोडक्शन आउटपुट है, तो मुझे कितने घंटे चाहिए। और अगर मुझे इतने घंटे चाहिए तो मैंने क्या किया? मैंने कहा सिंपली सबको इक्वली बांट दिया, 112 घंटे और 15 दिन में करेगा। या मैंने कहा आपने अभी तक जितना काम किया उसके बेसिस पे अपोर्शन किया। बोथ ऑप्शंस आई हैव गिवन टू द बिजनेस एंड आई एम सेइंग अगर वो 100 घंटे काम करेगा तो क्या वो अपना ओटी ब्रीच करेगा ओवर टाइम लिमिट को? और अगर ब्रीच करेगा तो यहाँ पे जैसे 6 घंटे कर देगा, ओटी एक्स्ट्रा करेगा। आप ओटी कॉस्ट को भी कम करना चाहते हो तो आप देख सकते हो इसकी जगह मैं 9005 की जगह मैं 9003 को लगा दूं काम पे, या मेरा स्टैट्यूटरी लिमिट भी ब्रीच कर जाएगा। और ये आपके पास ऑप्शंस हैं कि आप देख लो कि मेरा असेंबली लैब कितना कर रहा है, कहाँ हो रहा है, मेरा अलॉइंग कितना ले रहा है, मेरा मेंटेनेंस कितना कर रहा है, या मुझे आपको चाहिए मेरे पास ब्रीच है या नॉन ब्रीच है। So this is predictive. This is so every day it keeps changing. 16th को it keeps changing. 16th को देखिए ये आया नहीं, इसलिए 16th से 31st तक, 17 से 31st तक वो 112 has become 104. It has become 97. 18th को it has become 95. So basis every day we keep sending them by कौन ब्रीच कर रहा है, कौन नहीं ब्रीच कर रहा है। आपको कॉल्स लेने हैं, आप ले लीजिए। सिमिलरली मैं आपको एमएसएमई का दिखाता हूं। एमएसएमई पेमेंट्स अगेन दिस इज हैपनिंग ऑन अ फोर्टनाइटली बेसिस। आई विल जस्ट शो यू मे बी द 31/12/2020। इसमें भी क्या होता है, नॉर्मली हम लोग क्या करते हैं, जो एमएसएमई बुक हो गया उसके बाद क्या पेमेंट ड्यू डेट है और कौन सा ड्यू हो रहा है, कौन सा नहीं हो रहा है। वी हैव गॉन वन मोर स्टेप अहेड से जिस एमएसएमई वेंडर का जीआरएन बन गया है, माल आ गया है, उसका इनवॉइस बुक ही नहीं हुआ है, किसी की दराज में पड़ा हुआ है, वो बुक नहीं हो रहा है। सो वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट भाई आज से अगर मैं आज भी इनवॉइस बुक कर दूं तो कितने दिन में पेमेंट कर दूंगा। ऑप्शन दे रहा हूं मैं आपको 5 दिन। अगर मुझे 5 दिन में करना है इसको, जस्ट गिव मी अ सेकंड। अगर मुझे इसको ये जैसे 10 दिन में है तो 2606 केसेस हैं और अमाउंट इज ग्रेटर देन 0। अब मुझे देखना है कि यार 50,000 से ज्यादा के अमाउंट बताओ। बस 50,000 से ज्यादा के अमाउंट 269 lakhs हो गया अपने आप। इसको मैं डिलीट करता हूं। 1 सेकेंड। 5,000 से ज्यादा मेरा 241 lakhs हो गया। यहां पे मैं क्लिक करूंगा तो मुझे सारे केसेस मिल जाएंगे। उसमें मेरे को देखना है अच्छा मेरी एक्सेसरीज डिवीजन में कितना है और क्या ओवरड्यू हो गया या अभी ओवरड्यू नहीं हुआ है, या मुझे ज्वेलरी में देखना है कितने हैं मेरे, या मेरे को वॉचेस में देखना है मेरे कितने हैं। और नीचे आपको सबके डिटेल्स भी मिल जाएंगे कि मेरा ये डॉक्यूमेंट नंबर इस वेंडर का, ये तो 2017 का, इफ आई हैव टू जस्ट से नॉट ओवरड्यू, तो ये 2/12 को जो है आपको पोस्ट किया है और 1 दिन रह गया पेमेंट करने के लिए और ये 507 रुपए है। इसी चीज को मैं अगर यहाँ पे 50,000 करके व्यू रिजल्ट करूं तो आप देखेंगे कि मेरे सारे 50,000 के ऊपर के ट्रांजैक्शंस ही आएंगे। इसमें मुझे सारे चाहिए तो आपको सारे डिपार्टमेंट मिल जाएंगे। अगर न्यू बिजनेस का चाहिए सिर्फ तो आपको न्यू बिजनेस का मिल जाएगा। सो अगेन दिस इज सेइंग कि भाई दिस इज ऑन 31/12 को आपके पास इतने हैं जो इनवॉइस बुक नहीं हुआ है, GRN हो गया है और ये आपकी पेमेंट ड्यू हो जाएगी। So that's around the fact that how do you do predictive? As I said, these would be the thing. When you do predictive, keep in mind what is the frequency you want to look at it, what will be load in the system, because predictive के लिए मुझे रोज overtime churn करना पड़ता है करने के लिए, and do you really need it real time? That's a real question. Predictive करने के लिए real time चाहिए या आप हर 15 दिन में भी कर सकते हैं, हर 10 दिन में भी कर सकते हैं, हर 5 दिन में भी कर सकते हैं? What's the value? So that is basically, all I had to share about a data journey, analytics journey from internal audit from assurance to anticipation. And जैसे in any components of analytics program, and I have just ventured into a little bit of the philosophical path, I will not even call it spiritual or religious path. आपके जो वेद हैं हमारे, उसमें 4 पार्ट्स हैं। संहितास जो हमें सारे श्लोकों के बारे में बताते हैं, ब्रह्मणास वो चीज थोड़ा सा बताती है श्लोक का मतलब क्या है, या ये जो रिचुअल्स हैं आप पहले राइट हैंड से क्यों डालते हैं घी, लेफ्ट हैंड से उठा के यहाँ क्यों डाल के स्वाहा क्यों डालते हैं, क्रॉस क्यों करते हैं, 2 बर्तन क्यों रखते हैं, ये ब्रह्मणास वो चीज बताती है। अरण्यकास क्या है, वो नेक्स्ट स्टेज में थोड़ा सा डेवलप कर दिया है कि भाई मैं ऐसा क्यों करता हूँ, वैसा क्यों करता हूँ। ओके, और उपनिषद जो है वो आपको लार्जर डीपर मीनिंग देते हैं कि पूरी डिटेल में इंसाइट क्या है हमारी इन सब चीजों का। सो दीज आर द 4 कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ आवर वेदास। एनालिटिक्स इज आल्सो सिमिलर। द संहितास आर लाइक द टेक्निकल पार्ट, आपको पीछे कोडिंग लिखनी है, मैक्रो करना है, दीज आर प्योर मंत्र जैसा है। ब्रह्मणास आर बेसिकली माय डेटा एक्सट्रैक्शन एंड फिल्टर्स कि मैं क्या स्टेप कैसे करूंगा। अरण्यकास आर द रीजंस एंड अजम्पशंस, मैं क्या रीजंस लूंगा, मैं क्या अजम्पशंस दूंगा। और फाइनली उपनिषद्स आर द फाइनल इनसाइट्स। वेद में भी जो पहले 2 पार्ट हैं उसको कर्म कांड करते हैं, आप कैसे इस प्रोसेस को करते हैं, और आखिरी के जो 2 हैं उसको ज्ञान कांड कहते हैं, जिससे मेरे को क्या ज्ञान मिल रहा है। Exactly the same way you write your technical concepts, you do the data extraction and filters. That's the karma kand, how you actually run an analytics, and your logics, assumption, reasons is the input stage, and output is the insight. That's the knowledge base. Sorry. So that's broadly, and just look at it. When I understand we all have our own struggles, but we just need to hold on, and I'm sure we'll all have a very good data analytics journey ahead. And these are just few things. Overcomplicate karenge to, and you just can't keep changing the data to suit your purpose. Use data as it is, and so that it speaks the truth. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm through. I'll stop sharing and happy to take any questions.
Paul sir, are you online?
Yes.
Paul sir, there is a request from members if you can revisit those websites or tell more about those websites again?
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, if you see these three examples I've taken, these are examples, but these are not the websites. So what I will do is I'll show you the website itself. Just give me a minute. I'll show you the websites itself. Right now, what I have done is I'll, okay, here itself we can type d3js.org. That's the website. D3 stands for Data Driven Documents. These are all terms which are, this is quite old actually. Most of what we are talking in analytics or graphics, these are all web-based. So it's very easy because today even mobile phones can run web pages. So there's no difficulty here. Now, if you see, they put a lot of samples here, but this is a little more complicated to work with. Instead, you go to the top of the page and click on examples. The site is d3js.org. You go straight to the examples. You can see everything, source, everything, but right now I'm just going straight to the examples. So when you go to the examples, you'll see a lot of examples here. One which deals with all the animation. Then you can see there's one which deals with interaction. Interaction means you can actually move the mouse and show some figures or numbers or whatever. So if you see here, we can, as you move the timeline, see this is the timeline, say July, August, whatever. Now as you move the timeline, as you're moving the mouse, the graph will also change. Now maybe in an agriculture industry like a sugar mill or a rubber factory, you can actually show them why mill is running only 2 months in the year or 6 months in the year. What are all the parameters, whether rakes are available for dispatch of the sugar, completed sugar. Okay, just examples I'm giving you. Okay, so anyway, that's not important. But anyway, this I showed you, all the interactive ones. Then we can start doing analysis, like moving average, Bollinger Bands. Now this needs a little bit of statistics. Just read minimum statistics. You don't have no formula required. We just have to understand what each of these statistical methods will show us. That's all we need to understand. And then when you come to the hierarchies, now these actually show you, these are area charts. So I've taken one of these area charts. Now what it does is, it shows you, for instance, this is like some layouts they've taken, but these are very good when you're doing budgets. So for instance, this may be locally generated revenue, this can be head office revenue, this may be a grant or something like that. And somebody wants to see one of these. It's not animating, but I will show an animated one. So the advantage of these animated ones is you can expand or reduce so that people understand what you're trying to say. So supposing, okay, I think we have to start running the code. Okay, I'll choose something else. That should be fine. Okay, now these are actually the circle diagram. Now we have to actually click on, I'm not very sure why it's not running, it must be in the wrong stuff. But anyway, if you have any specific doubt or if these are not running, I'll make it run and mail the code back to you. Because we do a lot of these, actually we take the code and edit it, I mean, nothing original. These are open source, so you don't have to worry about it. And these can also, these diagrams, actually we need to change the data. Okay, I understand now why it's not working. You need to change the data. So I will take something where it's interactive. Okay, these bars, they're all interactive so that we know then lines. In the PowerPoint, I just said bar, line, what heat map, bubble. These are all the various types in that. Of course, we have more types also. So you have dots, bubbles, etc. Then you'll have the radial ones which are moving out. Then you have the real animation. This is for countries, globes, whatever. India map is also there. I suggest you use the standard Google Maps. But if you are 100%, if you are using Explorer, Microsoft, I think they got a new. The new browser is called something. Okay, that's a new browser. Okay, it's called Bing, whatever it's called. Okay, fine. So if you're using this browser, Edge. Okay, I'm sorry. It's Microsoft Edge. If you're using this browser, your map will be from Bing, B-I-N-G. I mean, that's also good. But India map is not coming very well in Bing, so I generally use Google. When you could use any map you want, and it's okay. Now, these just for fun, you can leave. The other site which I was talking about is Chartjs. Chartjs.org. Okay, now this will give you different types of charts. Again, I go to the samples. You can quickly run the samples that will do for us. And you can see there are various charts here, various line drawings here. We got other charts, area chart. For instance, pie diagram itself, we have so many. But if you remember what I told you, put the biggest pie on the right side. So we may have to drag and drop it and so on. So some small change in the code will be required. Normally we put the data in ascending order. So the pie starts with the largest piece. If you have multi-series pie, then you can start putting the values, or again try to bring the biggest value to the right side. Okay, area charts, okay, whatever, legends, titles, you can add various things like tooltips. Okay, these are actually, since you are interested, I'll just show you one more site that's called w3cschools.org. The address is here, W3Schools, I'm saying not C, it is w3schools.org. This will give you a self-tutorial. I mean, those are interested can easily learn from here. Actually, you can reach the site. Okay, I'll just take it to Google and we'll figure this out. Okay, I'm just typing W3 school. So, okay, this is the online. Okay, it's W3 schools. I must have typed it wrongly there. Okay, anyway, w3schools.com. You can start learning various things. For instance, you learn HTML here. You can learn a lot of other languages also. CSS is Cascade Style Sheets. JavaScript is what we were looking at right now. Python, unless you want to data analytics, you may not require it. SQL is also, you can learn it for audit tools. But actually, I would say, you learn the SQL here, but I would suggest SQLite for audit offices, because that's one is free and it's easy also. Those who want to learn PHP, jQuery, C++, okay, it's not needed for us. We don't need all this, but JSON may be useful for those who do a lot of TDS, GST, those kind of jobs where you're downloading from government sites. I mean that whatever TDS, 26AS and whatever GST sites and so on. I guess we could leave the others. Okay. So what I would suggest is maybe you could quickly run through this. You learn HTML, it comes like a tutorial, you go one by one. Then somewhere it'll ask you to do a small exercise also. Somewhere read all that. You'll get a small exercise. Okay, some example. And when you try it yourself, it'll open the browser this side. So if I typed, okay, this is a letter, I can actually see what the output will be here without going to the browser and all those things. So three things now. This was not in my slide, but you could just remember this, w3schools.com, and then you can choose whatever language you wish to learn. Would that answer the questions?
Yes, sir. Thank you. And there is a request from all the members to have the presentation shared. Definitely,
I will send it, sir. I'll send it off to Mr. Sailesh and Mrs. Aarti. They will get the presentation, the standard procedure, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, then there is a question: what are the tools mostly used in the Indian organizations for analytics?
If it is analytics, the very rich companies, they use SAS, but unfortunately it's $1 lakh per login. But anyway, big companies use it. But smaller companies, more for their analytics, they usually run the cheaper tools. What we have is like Power BI, Tableau, Clicks, whatever, so many of them are there. If it is hardcore analytics, they normally develop their software in C or in Python or R language, and then they use it. Actually, the problem here is if you're just using a basic tool like ACL, IDEA, it's easy because all you have to do is just pull in the data, and even the query is written by the tool itself. But if you're moving to the next level, you want to analyze, you want to use some statistical functions, then we have to learn some language, learn some little bit of statistics. It used to be in the CA course in Inter, Maths and Statistics, but now it's gone to Foundation, and then it's not up to the level we require today. But older chartered accountants would definitely have studied it, so they should find it easy. Younger people will have to work with it.
Thank you, sir. Sivaram sir, would you like to add anything on this?
Sir, your mic is on mute.
I think Dr. Jaikar has covered, these are the typical analytics tool that are being used. I think Power BI and Tableau and all are more visualization. But as he's saying, C or SQLs are the ones which Indian organizations use more. One of the other recent thing which is coming up is Alteryx, which is I think somewhere around 3.5 to 4 lakhs, which is a very, very useful. It's a high-end tool, and it's very compatible with Excel. So if you're very extremely used to Excel, then if you have Alteryx, it allows you to do so many iterations and functions, which is queries written by the tool itself, and it's so Excel compatible that even if you want to do a VLOOKUP, if you type in that chat box VLOOKUP, Alteryx will actually throw up what are the 5 steps you have to do a VLOOKUP in Alteryx. So Alteryx is one thing which is coming up, and we've done some test demos with it. They are extremely useful. Yes, it's a slightly expensive. It's almost a 3.5 lakh rupees a year single user license, and I'm sure over a period of time they would absorb the cost on volumes and it will come down. But that's one more product that's worth evaluating if people are wanting to venture into it.
Thank you, Shivraman sir. Sir, there is a question I put to both of the speakers. For a small, medium-sized CA firm having 2-3 internal audits, please suggest affordable and most efficient result-oriented internal audit software, and whether the software would be available on a monthly rent charges. Sir, should I report again?
I just want to understand, when you say internal audit software, are you talking about analytics software or an internal audit workflow management software, which will give you, how many audits are going, who is doing, how much late, how much early, time sheets and everything. Is that what we are looking at, or an analytics software? Because there are two different things.
Sir, it seems like an analytical software.
Analytical. So, I don't know, to be very honest, whether there are anything on a monthly rental basis, but I typically feel the ideas and the ACLs could be one of the, as of today, an affordable tool. I'm actually not clear on the price bands which they are there. Dr. Jaikar would perhaps be more aware of this. To be very honest, I think it is the ideas and ACLs which are the next best options as of now. And there is one which one of our CA fraternity person is also.
So just to add one thing, there is a person from Bangalore. Many of you may know him, Rafiq. He runs this. He has a product called ECAT, ECAAT, which is used by the small practitioners. That is one product, the ECAT. I forgot the name of his company, but anyway, his name is Rafiq. If you put on the Google, you'll get it. ECAT Bangalore or something. If you put, you will get. And there are a lot of free tools. I think the desktop of Power BI is free. Tableau Cloud is free, but they're all, as Sir said, they're all visualization tools. If you're doing a lot of analytics, it's better to have someone learn statistics and then use Excel. But of course, data will be very limited there. They can use Excel, or they can do the same thing, but they have to learn SQL and write it in Power BI. So they have to do that. Yes, so you were asking the next question.
Thank you, sir. We are almost through with the questions, and we have a very enthralling and engaging presentation by both of you. I would request Sunny Agarwal sir to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Kunalji. On behalf of Meerut branch, I, CA Sunny Agarwal, extend my hearty vote of thanks to all the dignitaries present in today's BCM, especially to both our speakers, CA K. Paul Jaikar ji and CA Sivaram Subramaniam ji, who spared their valuable time from their busy schedule to grace the occasion. Thank you, sir. Today we had an opportunity to hear from such a personage from the profession, which is really grateful for all of us and will definitely guide us to impart our duties as a professional in the modern era of technology. Thank you so much, sir. Hearing your thoughts on data visualization and data analysis along with technology as an enabler of internal audit will enlighten our minds and show us a new path to deal with the audit procedures and technology. My gratitude to both the speakers for sharing the valuable knowledge. We are immensely thankful to CA Anuj Goyal ji and CA Charanjot Singh Nanda ji and other Central Council members for their efforts and for addressing keynotes on the topics. Thank you so much to them. With my deepest sense of appreciation, I extend my vote of thanks to each and everyone who worked hard for the success of today's BCM. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. It was an honor being here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.